Hello, my name's Alan Pang. In regards to the recruitment phase for PWC and other phases like the assessment centres that align to how we subject in understanding. I want to give you a further understanding on my experiences trying to tailor my CV towards the recruitment process. And tailoring this CV will allow us to form a personal statement and form our characteristics in applications, job applications. It doesn't matter if you are applying for retail, recruitment, banking, financial, hospitality, legal sector. They would demonstrate your ability in your role to succeed in your organization is your perseverance, your resilience, your energy, and your enthusiasm. And they will ask you for specific job specifics in roles in for management, including leadership, accountability for leadership, your time management skills, working collaboratively in team, respecting each other, trusting integrity, the customer service you provide, your excellent interpersonal communication skills. And these was adjourned in understanding and working collaboratively in a team, how you have this cultural, strong ethic culture in supporting and assisting colleagues or clients or individuals, which include students, on attaining their overall objectives and their career aspirations. How you assisted with a task. This might be from extracurricular activities to academic to basic experience, maybe working in a cafe where you're collaborating with your other Nero cafe assistants in collations of glasses and collations of cups. Interaction, how you interpersonal skills, where you engage in your interpersonal communication styles and understanding each other's objectives, as well as being able to communicate at all hierarchies and levels, and demonstrating your ability to have your affluence and have an impact in your communication styles, basically in terms of communicating with students, with professors, tutors, doctors. Hierarchy members would include CEO, director, board directors, trustees, hierarchies, scene managers. So these are very important, because how you project yourself to the organization on the outside and how they see you on the inside as well. And basically, as having experience in a clerical assistant that supports individual complex house needs, I was engaging with individuals from my service managers and understanding their needs and communicating affluently, in supporting broader trustees in organizations or meetings, to my chief of executive officer on communicating via electronic mail, in communicating of individuals' support units and requirement support in understanding this. And so we have to understand things like terminology. Terminology is the type of tenacity and maybe acronyms that you have to understand in explanations of a complex information in a simplistic format. So being flexible and adaptable, and this might be objective to verbal reasoning communication styles. Individuals say that they have feedback that the application was not successful, but this goes with understanding the ethos and the values, as every organisation have an ethos and value on their cultural beliefs and strategic movements in their purpose. Like, for an example, a retail hospitality sector, for example, like Tesco's or Asda or Sainsbury's or Co-op, they have the adherence in cultivating and meeting the expectations of the KPI, which is known as key performance indicators, in adhering to their policies of safety regulations that is implemented, understanding about business acumen and generating KPI revenue, and acquiring to the service level of support in customizable service in terms of the retail, in terms of provisions of merchandise to individuals, maybe from Sainsbury's and further food and groceries and that. So it's very important that when you apply for a job, you have to understand the job specification as well as researching into the goal's purpose, the values, the needs, the necessities, and these are very important. So now moving on to quantitative analytical ability. Some roles may require you in the numerical have numerical quantitative analytical skills in interpreting data in the statistical format to things like understanding the basic numerologies of programming and its efficaciousness. This is very, very important. So understanding this is very important to be successful in your role in acquiring to needs and necessities. So numerical data might be interpreting large quantitative analytical data, like for things like auditing and accountancy firms, in which is like the PwC. You analyzing large quantitative amounts of information associated with a business case study, where you have to extract this information and you have to utilize and train your mentality of your mind to decipher information that is not necessary to the affluence of the data. For example, that they're acquiring a revenue, a profitable revenue in the future. But if you are understanding the depreciation values upon the previous years, you will not understand from the previous years within the 5 years impact how the trends in terms of understanding of in the next 5 years afterwards, utilizing things like increase in which is net profit margin. Net profit margin is the revenue before and the revenue at the later state minus the revenue a few years back at the present divided by the present times by 100 to see the accumulation in the percentage of the amount. So if they're asking for information like that, you have to instigate on acquiring and inspections of financial statements and income sheets, which includes balance sheets, because this will acquire the affluence of the profitability, the manufacturing cost, the cost per product to manufacture, and the revenue and the assets generated from the services that you provided in terms of each the quantitative nature of each amount and the product cost of each cost. Some things might ask you to interpret data like conversion values. Conversion values is converting from maybe GDP to RMB to euros to. So you have to understand, for example, okay, I'll give you an example. £1 is equivalent to maybe 1.12 euros. So €1 is 1/121 pound. So now they give you maybe €200 and you have to convert this into pounds. So €200 divided by 1.12 is equal to the euros and vice versa. So you have to instigate things like basic rearrangement of formula, which I utilize in terms of the quick tenacity to analyze data, because they might ask you for the total amount or the round of value amount. So you have to they might have you have a quantitative amount, which is the required quantity per value, and the how much you have sold, and the price of each quantity you have sold. And it might be asking you convert from JPY, which is yen, to USD, or USD to euros, or euros to potatoes, or other currency exchange like Taiwanese dollars, or GBP, which is Great British Pounds Sterling. So you have to understand things like monitoring. This is within a financial context or accountability context, on which I have had demonstrations of liaising and envisage on calculating the cost of the cost to implement, and the cost to implement, or the revenue that is generated, and the conversions of the revenue within the demographic region from Europe to Asia to Australia to that kind of thing. So now I have demonstrated these abilities, and these are very important. So you have to add quantitative analytical background. You may have some quantitative analytical background by working in a retail, in a post office, in a counter. Basically, maybe if you're working in Nero Cafe in a cafe, you're adding up the cost of so you have the price of the cost, or maybe you might have a standard price added on, or after standard depreciation after a certain discount. So you can utilize basic numerical percentage skills in that format and that context. So these are important. So when individuals are saying that they're struggling to apply, it's your understanding the ethos, the values, because if certain organizations, for example, financial institutions like Morgan Stanley, Barclays, HSBC, RBS, Lloyds Banking Group, you have to understand this is an analytical mindset. But when you're applying to maybe legal sectors, or legal sectors which include economics, you have to have a greater asset in written communication. So you might be asked to analyze maybe some legal documents which include quantitative analytical data sets, but in general, you'd be asking. So it's understanding. First, you have to understand, from my experience, is understanding the purpose, the values, the goals of each organization. So that's very important. So, moving on to this, um, we will understand more about this, which includes writing up your CV. And your CV is your skills, like I said: quantitative analytical, team leader work, time execution, business acumen, whole leadership skills, integrity, respecting individuals, global diversity, being able to have strong IT and communication skills, maybe in Microsoft packages, or strong programming ability. It depends on the role you apply for. So you have to understand that you have to write a small paragraph of your strengths and where you articulated these strengths. This is maybe from your academic to your experience. For example, working in an institution like Barclays, where their values act is respect. So you must respect your colleagues, your customers, your clients, your partners, and in terms of your communication, to be empathetic, to understand their responses, to live in their world, to understand, but interpersonal, to develop the strong communication skills through great collaborative nature, to understand the needs and directing them to meet their objectives. In terms of business acumen is in refining processes that can generate profitability, or improve the processes that can support customers or colleagues in a financial institution. So these are very important, like for example, respect, stewardship, excellence, the excellence and service, committed to the service and the support that is required to attain things like adhere to FCA, which is the Finance Conduct Association, and the regulatory format of that to be DDA, disability discrimination, the non-disclosure of general data protection, to ensure that you communicate efficaciously to reduce deformations and exploitations of DBH leakage due to confidential leverage of documents to external party members. So these are important. So when you apply for a role, you have to understand the ethos, the values, and how your ethos and values align to your purpose, your aspirations, and careers. So I think this is where individuals, applicants, might be going wrong. Is not understand the ethos and values, and researching in the company thoroughly into the developmental areas, the successes element, how the colleagues' ethos, the inclusivity of adversity, the diversities of individuals in neurodiversities. Like individuals might have support individuals with disabilities, maybe from autistic spectrum disorders to neurodiversity to physical and mental, which includes audio, and they will have these support schemes and they mentors, because most employers have disability schemes that can support candidates to maximize their potential with the assistance so they have the career aspirations and growth. As I believe that individuals, no matter what condition you have the ability to maximize your potential to achieve your objectives in life. And these are the things that I may acquire to, and understanding this you can generate a work experience or academic format. And your academic format on goes from ranges from your latest maybe to your PhD thesis, to your postdoctorate, to your masters, to your bachelors. And your bachelors, what you acquired the skill set, how you learned to communicate efficaciously with neurodiverse backgrounds of students in embracing the communication style, how you organize your time effectively to manage your tasks to successfully adhere to all objectives and submissions of deadlines, how you gain quantitative analytical skills, your written communication skills in terms of your terminology styles and your flexible your personality trait, how you developed and empowered others in terms of leadership's where you leading a project in a team to maximize productivity, and how you adhere to the STAR format. So these are the skills, and you utilize this in chronological logical order. Logical order is to is the dates that is from latest from, for example, completion of masters. Completion of masters in that format. So we have to understand things like that, for example. So we have to understand a lot more about the procedures as well as understanding the other situations that you have to abide to and adhere to. So if you was to be successful, you have to locate all your experience, your academic achievement, and what you achieved. So during my academic, I demonstrated high ability in achieving high objective through my perseverance and my understanding of analyzing quantitative analytical data sets from linear differentiation, understanding about mathematical biology, for example, in attaining my thesis in the compilation of utilizing Maple and LaTeX. So these are the skill sets that you acquired through your demonstration at university, which is important, and these can be transferred onto your CV. You must keep your CV succinct and align with your values in terms of writing a small summary set, and this is very important. And hopefully this gives you some coverage and exposures and understanding your ability, and maybe you might have work experience. This work experience might come from your background, maybe working in a restaurant, or internships to apprenticeships in terms of cycles and that kind of thing, and then 3 months where you generate your ability and working in an organization in realistic context, so you can project this. So if you might not have internship skills and you might only have academic qualities, you might just in your experience might come from transferable skills. These transferable skills where you executed great management efficaciously, leadership in working in team, where you're working in 5 in a team, where you generated all your ideas in supporting in maximizing productivity or revenue for an organization, for example Nero. So you enticed all the customers to embrace on the discount charges and to maximize the accumulative amount of cup of coffees or different beverages which is sold to maximize. So this is all business acumen skills as well, in terms of refining processes or adhering to different adversities and flexibilities of change of nature in the organization, adaptable to change of processes, this kind of thing, and commercial awareness of all competitors in the market. These are very important, and these are very important to understand this at the same time. And understanding this will allow us to generate greater circumstances associated with that type of area and your goals and aspirations. So now you got experience. Your experience might be working part time, or for example collating newspapers. So I hopefully this gives you valuable insight into understanding more about CVs. Thank you.